Hello, everyone. I'm here with Ron from a really innovative company called Kidas. Now, Ron, first of all, where are you right now? Where are you located? And I want you to tell me about your company, how it started, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, great to be here. So I'm originally from Israel, but currently in the New York City area. And Kida started about two years ago. We actually realized that there is a huge problem in gaming, and gaming is not safe anymore for kids.
Mhm.
So for those of you who don't know gaming, kids play with other gamers and they talk while they do so. And unfortunately, there is no monitoring for those conversations. So online predators, scammers use those conversations to scam and harass kids. And what we created in Kidas is a pretty innovative technology that analyzes voice conversations within those games and allow the technology allows parents and gaming companies to monitor those conversations, filter conversations which contain those bullying or harassment, and also block those players from playing those games. So games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, FIFA, all of those games that contain voice communication could be much safer for kids. It's estimated that about 60% of the kids who play those games are actually bullied or harassed while playing those games. And we want to make this different. I grew up playing those games. You know, most of us grew up playing those games. Actually, 90% of the boys in the US play those games. And we want to make sure that it's actually family safe, it's suitable for those kids, and they have good experience. We don't want them to leave those games. I actually talked with a lot of kids who suffer from those scenarios. They were bullied, they were scammed in those games, and they just leave the games. So we're hoping to create a win-win situation for everyone, for the kids who can play in a safe way, for parents who feel more confident to let their kids play, and for gaming companies who would not leave those would have those kids would not leave their platforms, and for society overall, protecting those kids.
That's really cool because I guess as adults we don't really think about this, but kids get bullied all the time, and if kids are if you said 90% of what of male kids are playing games, stuff like this are going to happen all the time. So it's really good that you're thinking about that. Now, okay, so tell me about the company. How do you prevent or how do you analyze or see if there's bullying going on? How do you stop the bullying?
Yeah, so what we do is we analyze the voice conversation within the game, but we don't treat it independently. So basically, we also connect to the games to understand if something is happening within the game that may affect the voice. So, for example, if someone tells you, "I'm going to kill you," and we know that you play Fortnite and someone is actually shooting at you, we're not going to alert you because we know it's part of the game.
Exactly.
By connecting to the game, and we currently support more than 200 games, and analyzing the voice conversation, we can understand and conclude if it's a real scam bullying or it's something related to the game. Because those games could be really aggressive, and
Yeah.
you know, for the older kids, we don't want to alert parents or gaming companies every time someone is trash talking a little bit, as long as it's not too bad. And so that's how we do that. We analyze the voice, we connect to the game, we understand the feelings of the players based on the voice, and we use some of the metadata, some of the events that happen within the game, and we can conclude what is happening within the game. And just a few months ago, we actually announced a partnership with a pretty big Israeli gaming company called Overwolf, and they create technology that allows developers to connect to events from the games. And with their support, they also invested in Kiras, and we will be able to support more than 9,000 games, which is
Wow.
huge for us. It means that we're going to support all of the most popular games out there, and many more than the 200 that we currently support.
That's amazing. So this is a big breakthrough right now. That's huge for you guys. Wow. Now, I'm just curious, how did you come up with this idea? Where did this come from? Like, this sounds like a big issue, but maybe no one really cared, no one realized. What got you to like say, I want to try to help this situation?
Yeah, so I think for me, it all started in business school. And I moved to the US to attend business school. I went to UPenn, And while I was there, I read an article about a girl who was sexually assaulted by someone she met online. And so I said, we have to find a solution for those cases, because you read and hear about so many of those cases. So I talked with my friends from my previous career from the military, the Israeli military, the IDF, and we said, okay, we know how to develop this technology. Let's figure out, let's create an app that solves those solutions, so those problems. And while we did that, we created an MVP, a minimal valuable product, and we let parents test it, play with it, install it on their kids' devices. And initially, it was based for social media. And as we started to gather the data, parents told us, listen, it's nice that you can monitor Instagram or maybe Snapchat and Android devices and iPhone, but we actually need it on our kids' gaming devices. They play Fortnite all day long, they play Minecraft, they play Roblox, and they talk with a lot of players in those games. So, and we actually don't know, like we didn't grow up playing online multiplayer gaming. So can you support those type of games? And we say, okay, let's add something. Let's add. So we started by adding Minecraft and Roblox and Fortnite. And then we realized, okay, there is a bigger issue actually in gaming. And since a lot of us are gamers ourselves, we understood, remember the time that we were, suffer from, curse words and suffer from trash talking, playing Call of Duty and some other games. We said, okay, let's focus on gaming. That's the bigger problem. That's the biggest value proposition that we can provide to parents. And so that brought us from social media to gaming, and that's what we're focusing on right now.
Amazing. So obviously it didn't start off with games, it started off with social media, which makes sense because people definitely get bullied on social media. It's probably more adults, but it's still bullying in some way. The problem is kids can't really defend themselves so well. So going to gaming really makes sense. Wow. And yeah, and people, we know people they can spend hours and hours on games all day. They play their games. So it's very
Yeah,
interesting.
it's crazy that the average Kidas gamer spends between 2 to 3 hours a day playing. So on average, so it doesn't mean that it actually happens every day. Sometimes they play a lot more, during the weekend. But the average Kidas gamer play between 2 to 3 hours a day. That's a lot. That's almost like a part-time job.
But yeah, that is. Wow. So now, so let's say, so 3 years ago, 3 years ago, we had this idea. What were the stages? Like, so what did you do? What did you create? You created an algorithm. How did you start off? And how did it get to where it is right now, where it actually works?
Yeah, I think our biggest mistake right from the beginning is that we started with creating the technology before we talked with users. We created
Wow.
the technology and then we tested with users, and then we realized, okay, we spent so much time building the technology and for social media, but actually parents want it for gaming. So the next thing that we've done after we figure out that, okay, we need it for gaming, we said, okay, let's talk with parents. Let's interview dozens of parents. Let's talk with kids. So we did customer interviews with parents, with kids, focus groups, to understand the need, to understand what would be considered by kids okay, not too invading their privacy. And that's why we decided to focus on gaming. And kids feel like what happens on gaming platforms is not really private information, because a lot of those conversations are actually streamed or recorded, and so they don't feel like it's private information. So they're more likely to accept the fact that parents are installing some software that alert the parents about those situations. In social media, it's a little bit different from the focus groups that we had with kids. They feel that social media is a little bit more private. It's a little bit more sensitive, and that's why we decided to focus on gaming. It's still a huge problem, but we get less resistance from kids when the parents install the software on their kids' devices.
So the parents install a software on the devices, and if it detects bullying, it alerts the parents. How does it work?
Yeah, so it's pretty easy. So parents go to our website, getkidas.com, and they fill out a very short form, and then they download the software to their kids' PC. And once they install it, we automatically, in the background, connect to more than 200 games, whatever is installed on the specific PC, and then parents start receiving alerts. So when we detect something, we send them an email, and they get it straight to their inbox, and we alert them about situations. And so far, about one third of the parents who install our software got an alert within the first month. And sometimes it's something minor, and sometimes it's much more serious. So we have basically a color code for the alerts that we send. Red, it means that it's an immediate alert. You need to do something about the situation right now. In red cases, we had kids sharing their parents' social security number, for example, because someone told them, listen, go to your mom's purse and send me the social security number, and I'll send you some V-Bucks, which is the Fortnite money. In other cases, we had orange alerts. Orange alerts mean that kids share some information that they shouldn't be sharing, or they were bullied, and parents need to deal with it, but it's not an immediate thing. So parents can wait. They don't have to leave their work right now and deal with it. They can wait until the end of the day to deal with that. And in some other cases, we have yellow alerts. Yellow alerts mean that if something is happening, it doesn't necessarily negative, but it's something that parents should be aware of. So something changed in the behavior of their kid while they're playing. Maybe their kid is playing way more. Maybe their kid is playing way less. Something changed the behavior, and it's a red flag, something that they should be aware of. Not necessarily talk with their kid or talk with law enforcement or something like that, but something that they should keep on their mind.
So if there's a problem with bullying, let's say a kid's being bullied, right? Let's say people are taking advantage of him. What what repercussions can happen to the other user, right? Can they get shut down? What does can do you alert the game itself? Well, like how does how do you deal with it?
Yeah, it's a very sensitive situation to be at, because
Yeah,
at the beginning you asked me about the early days. And in the early days, we sent parent alerts, and they emailed us, okay, well, what do I do with the information? Do
exactly.
I call the gaming company? Do I need to call 911? What do I do with the information? So one of the things that we realized is that we need to provide parents with recommendations on how to deal with the situation. So what we've done is we partnered with child psychologists and child psychiatrists, and they're actually experts in child bullying and child aggression. And their daytime job is actually working for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. They have one of the biggest bullying and aggression research departments in the US. But they advise us on how to deal with those situations. So we basically created personalized recommendations for parents. So based on the situation that your kid went through, you're going to get a personal recommendation. It's not personalized, but we have about 100 types of recommendations that we send, and based on the situation, we send parents the right recommendation for their situation. It could be, maybe you should call law enforcement, maybe you should explain to your kid how to block the specific player on the specific game, and maybe you should change your credit card number because your child share the number with other gamers, or maybe you should just talk with your child about what is sensitive information and what are some details that he or she shouldn't share online. It all starts with discussions. We believe in open conversation between parents and their kids, and we don't believe that parents should hide the fact that the Kidas is installed on their kids' gaming devices.
That's very interesting. Now, the fact that you said that within a month, a third of the parents got alerted with some type of alert, that means that this problem is very real.
Yeah,
And it makes sense. I mean, kids are playing games and they have, someone's trying to get the guy's credit card, their social security number. People will take advantage of you anywhere you go, and especially they have access to the kids are playing the games. They interact with you. You interact with people all day on the games. So yeah, this is definitely very important. Okay, so now just tell me a little. So tell me a little about the company itself. Like, so how many employees do you have? Are there still employees in Israel, or are they all in America? How does that work?
yeah. So basically, our R&D team is based in Israel. So all of the product development is done in Israel. In the US, we have marketing, And we have a little one researcher that works with us in the US full time. So mostly it's marketing, and the business side is based in the US. And most of the product development and the design is done in Israel. We're currently 9 people. Um, Fully distributed team, so we don't have an office. Some of the people work from WeWork together, some of them work from home, but it's basically the employee's choice to decide: do I work from a WeWork? Do I work from home? Do I prefer coming to the WeWork maybe twice a week? We leave it open for employees to decide.
Nice. For a company like this, you don't need that many employees. You just need to be focused. So that makes sense. So how do you guys make money? Do you charge the parents to install it into their kids' game? How does it work?
Yeah, we charge parents. We first of all, we don't sell any of the data like some other companies do. We don't believe in it. We believe that children's information should be kept private and secured. And we make money by charging parents for our service. So parents pay $6 a month per device. If they have one gaming device, they pay $6 a month. If they have two, they pay 12. And we charge parents a monthly subscription fee. Our subscription fee is more affordable than a Netflix or a Hulu package. And I think for making sure that your child is secure while they play, and they play a lot, it's definitely worth the price.
100%. First of all, I would think that parents would want to know what's going on with their kids. They're playing games all day. I just want to make sure that they're healthy. At least there's not bad stuff going on. So to pay a few dollars a month to have that peace of mind, and if God forbid something happens, like something is going on, and they can give their social security number or their credit card or their address. So for sure, you're doing a service to everyone. Now, wow. So how long has this subscription been out? Like how long when did you launch for
Yeah,
parents?
we initially launched with the social media product, and then we had to shut it down because we decided to. That was in 2020, at the end of 2020, and then we launched the gaming product. And we had a lot of pivots along the way. So we started with an Xbox product, and that was actually a physical product. It was some kind of an electrical dongle that you connect to your child Xbox and can monitor all of the voice conversations. And then we realized that we want to focus on PC gaming because
Mm,
most of the heavy gamers actually use PC.
really?
So we pivoted to PC gaming, and now it's a software that you download. So we've been live for the last 8 to 9 months with our current product. And before that, we had the Xbox product, and before that, we had the social media monitoring product
Gotcha.
app for iPhone.
Now, do you ever envision yourself making a product for, let's say, I mean, there's definitely a lot of people playing Xbox, PS4, PS5, whatever, like all these types of games and social media itself. Do you ever envision yourself making the product or another product for these devices?
Yeah, for sure. We decided to start with PC gaming because
Mhm.
most of the heavy gamers play, on PC, and it also technically it was easier to integrate to PC games. But the next step, and that since we already had the product of the Xbox, we want to expand to Xbox, we want to expand to Sony PlayStation, bit on the Switch, all of those platforms for sure. We want to be gaming focused, and actually we also work with some of the biggest gaming companies in the world, and we just started to work with top 10 gaming company to integrate our technology into their servers. So
Oh,
the gaming company itself wants to know if an online predator, if a scammer is using the voice chat and to do things that they shouldn't do. And I think it's pretty famous case that actually some terrorists, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, in Europe, actually used the PlayStation network to communicate with each other because they knew no one would think about it and no
oh,
one monitors those conversations. So we
interesting.
want to make sure. So we want to make sure that we're detecting those kind of stuff for parents and for gaming companies.
So it could be integrated straight from the gaming company into their games, and they can monitor it themselves, and they could shut it down without even kids even knowing. Like if something starts, they can shut it down right away. if they,
Yeah.
if they're on top of it. Interesting. That would actually be the best result for everyone, where the gaming companies are on top of what's happening with their own games, if they want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, we believe that, the gaming companies should have access to our technology, but we also believe that parents should have access to our technology. We believe in a world in which, parents and users have access to their data, and that's why we want to integrate our technology into gaming companies and into their servers, but we also want to have users that can get access to their own data and decide what they want to do. We had a lot of cases in which, big companies, social media companies, decided to do things that are, morally debatable. And
Exactly.
we want to make sure that parents and users have access to their own data, while, gaming companies also have access and can leverage our technology to protect their users.
True. And just first of all, it's definitely better to have both sides working on it, because you just prevent more of this bad stuff from happening. So it's definitely better for everyone to be involved, because you want your kids to be safe. Interesting. Now, is there an age group that you guys focus on? Because you said kids. What about like a 20, what about like someone in their 20s, right? They can they can get scammed too. Old people get scammed also. Like, do you guys, so I know you guys focus on kids, but what about someone older? Could they, I don't know, what would you do with them?
Yeah, so for sure, our current target age is actually 8 to 14, for kids. And it doesn't mean that, like, if your child is 15, you cannot use our product, or if your child is 7, you can't use, but that's our target age. We understand that usually at the age of 8 or 9, kids start to play online multiplayer video games. Before that, they do play those games, but they do not communicate with other players. Usually at around the age of 8 or 9, they start communicating with other players. And at about the age of 14, 15, they become sophisticated enough to deal with those situations. They would not share their parents' social security number. It's harder to scam them. And our basically the best case scenario for us is a parent who installed our software when their child is 8, and then after 6 or 7 years, the child can graduate from having the software installed, because they already know how to deal with those situations. They mature enough to deal with that, and their parents already know that they got a few alerts in the past. They had a few tough conversations, and they're now educated and know how to deal with difficult situations.
Makes sense.
Basically the same as you start driving. At the
Yeah,
beginning, you don't drive by yourself. You have someone right next to you, and once you're old enough, once you gain a little bit more experience, then you can drive by yourself.
makes sense. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, we're really focused on just basic, in the beginning, basic stuff where they don't share information that could be harmful to themselves or to their parents or their family. So that's the first step. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
and the biggest problem I have to say is the snowball effect. So sometimes kids share something that they don't want to share. Maybe they share a photo, maybe they share some piece of information, and then the other side starts, using this piece of information and to extort more information from them, telling them, if you don't share this specific information, if you don't share your home address, or maybe if you don't share your parents' credit card number, I'm going to reveal this information. I'm going to send a message to your parents telling them that you share this information that you shouldn't share, and so on. And once they get into the snowball effect, usually they're too embarrassed to admit it in front of their parents or to ask for help. And that's why we're there to recommend them how to deal with those situations, how to treat those cases.
gotcha. Now we're talking about a market of what, hundreds of millions of people. Well, how many people? I'm thinking, what are the numbers? How many kids are playing games? You said most kids are playing games at some point. So what are the numbers here? How many like globally, or just in the US? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So in the US, we're talking about more than 30 million kids who are in the target age range and who are playing those games. And most of the boys, as I said, are playing those games, but actually a lot of the girls are playing as well. So um, 78% of the kids in the US, boys or girls, play video games. 90% of the boys, but also a big percentage of the girls are playing those games. if we're talking about industry-wise, the gaming industry is a booming industry. So it's growing massively. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars, and most of the games out there have some kind of online communication between the players. Sometimes we're talking about voice communication. Sometimes we're talking about text communication that we support as well. And once all of it moves to the metaverse and we all communicating in the metaverse, our technology support those cases as well. If you're running a live show in the metaverse and you want to make sure that your participants are safe, you can use our technology as well. We can connect to the metaverse, get the relevant events and metadata, and also protect the participants on the metaverse. So while we're supporting gaming now, our biggest vision is basically to support everything that runs, in gaming, in the metaverse, everything online that contains voice communication.
That first of all, that's the future. The future is everything's already online, but everything's gonna be more and more and more online. And you said kids are spending 2 to 3 hours a day on PC. They may be in school online. They may be in school with a headset. That could be the future. You don't know. So yeah, this is definitely relevant. No, it's needed actually. This is very important to make sure the kids are kept safe and the parents know that they will get an alert if something like this something's going wrong. So I think this is amazing. You guys created something really revolutionary, really something that's really needed. It's really cool.
Thank you for that. And also, for the metaverse, I know that a lot of companies are trying to create the metaverse. I know that Meta is trying to create their own product, a lot of gaming companies. And when those companies create their metaverse, they let, alpha users try those products. And one of the journalists who was one of the first users to try the Meta product was actually sexually harassed while using the product for the first time. It was a closed group, probably like 8 or 10 people. I don't remember the exact number. And she was already sexually harassed while using the platform. So definitely needed products for the metaverse as well.
Yeah. Wow. So I was gonna ask you what do you think the future is for your company? I mean, I see it as just being everywhere, all over the internet, which is basically everything: metaverse, gaming, social media, right? What do you think? What's your
Yeah,
vision?
we believe in the future of voice. We think that the future is in voice and video, and we want to be the security, the safe partner for all gaming and live events in those spaces. So we want to understand what is happening in those cases and alert parents and gaming companies and other companies about dangerous situations for their users and for their customers. And we do believe that voice and video is context dependent. So you cannot just analyze the voice without understanding what is happening in the game or what is happening in the event. And you have to make sure that you understand and connect what is happening within those platforms. And once you have enough information, analyze it and understand what is happening and alert the relevant participants or the relevant companies. So we think that the future of the companies specifically in voice communication in gaming and then also in the metaverse. We think that the gaming industry will be the leading factor and the leading the leading industry to push the metaverse forward. And we want to be there when the gaming companies start the metaverse and make the metaverse safe for all participants.
I couldn't agree with you more. I you're doing really good work. I mean, you're it's amazing to be able to do work, make money hopefully, and also help people, which is exactly what you're doing. You're helping parents, you're helping the kids themselves, and you'll be helping a lot of people in the future because yeah, everything the metaverse will happen. The question no one knows how big, whatever, but it's happening. People are putting money into it and time into it. It's gonna happen, and you guys will be there. You guys are there already. You guys will be go right into it. So I'm very excited to see where Kidas goes, and you guys are going places. It's really cool. It's cool.
Thanks.
Thanks. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for explaining your company, and hopefully one day we'll be able to speak to you guys again. You guys will be massive, massive company. You're already big. You know, you're getting. I'm very excited for the 9,000 new games you guys are getting, but I know you guys are going to be way bigger than this, which is very cool. And we're gonna keep tabs. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for, for having me, and would be happy, to catch up again once we have more updates, and, you know, letting you know about more cases that we prevented,
yeah,
because
yeah.
we think it's important, and we really take pride in what we do. And
As you should.
that's part of the business.
Thank you.